Athletic, bold, commanding. We're talking about the Chevy Equinox EV. Chevy's providing you a great show today, and we've got a lot of excitement kicking things off after we're coming off a huge win here on the Foreplay Golf Podcast. Just a massive, massive win. And again, it's all brought to you, as always, by our presenting sponsor, the Chevy and the Equinox EV, gentlemen.
Big time win for the fellas. Huge stuff. So a lot to get into. We get into this Oz Perlman guy. He's supposed to be Oz. His name is Oz. That's towards the end of the show. We talk a lot about a lot of good stuff here. LIV, PGA Tour, the whole deal. But that Oz Perlman, man, that guy, yeah, no, it's something that's breaking my brain right now. I can't even get through this. Just Chevy, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a hell of a show. We got a ton to get to. A lot of excitement. And then, some confused brains and everything in between. LIV with over $1 billion that they've lost. LIV Golf UK, PGA Tour, Scottie, a lot of stuff to get to. It's all brought to you once again by Chevy and the Equinox EV. The Equinox EV has a massive 17-inch diagonal center screen, the largest of any EV in its class. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make.
He looks at me and he goes, all right, it's a musical act. I know that for a fact. And in my head, I go, this is going to be the greatest moment of my life. I'm going to embarrass Oz Perlman in front of all these people. Get your phones out, because he thinks it's a musical act, and I got Denzel Washington in my brain.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. Big day coming off a huge Sunday for the Foreplay crew. Back-to-back emotional Sundays, Ryder Cup, and then right into just wading as deeply into a world that we don't wade into very often as you could possibly wade. Coming in hot, having all kinds of takes that I'm quite excited to get to. But, gentlemen, we're $80,000 richer as a team of 8 people. How about them fucking Cowboys yesterday?
Yeah, it was a great Sunday. The haters and the losers were out in droves, doubting the pick of our fearless leader, our fearless captain Riggs. But it worked. And, shout out to the New York Jets for being the worst franchise in maybe football history. Once the game started, and I know we're going to get into all of this, but I just felt about as confident as you can feel, because I was like, oh, this is like a Pop Warner team playing against an NFL team. So it was a great Sunday for our Ryder Cup squad.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, we won the Ryder Cup. So Riggs's team had defeated Ryan Whitney's team. So the bet, or the winning team, was able to place an $80,000 bet, courtesy of Dave Portnoy in the DraftKings Sportsbook. And Riggs was in charge of picking it. So there was a lot of discourse throughout the last couple of weeks.
Boy.
We had
a lot.
Jersey Jerry and Hank all in there, throwing a lot of picks at them. At one point, Dave said that we should bet the Red Sox on a game that they ended up losing, that Riggs had to hold strong, when Dave Portnoy is like, you should bet the Red Sox plus 170 today. And everyone's like, I like it. And then Riggs goes, I don't think Frankie would like that. And I'm like, honestly, it's really tough. We got Rodon on the bump tonight. I think they're going to end up winning. There's just a lot going on. So over the last couple of weeks, holding strong and picking the Cowboys, which again would say a controversial pick in all of public eye, and to hold strong there is pretty impressive, man. To just pick something is nuts. And you have 7 other people that are riding on it, so it's really, really hard to find a happy medium on what pick to actually go with.
No, it was. And what I guess I didn't really realize is that every single person who sports bets and has a Twitter account is apparently a billionaire sports bettor who's never lost a wager before. And they're all about the plus EV and all the value plays. And I want everyone to know that there's no way that this operation over here that I'm running from a sports betting standpoint is going to outvalue the DraftKings Sportsbook in the entire operation that they've got going on there. Never, ever under any circumstances. And so there was a lot going on. There were a lot of takes. We had Jerry being like, I need you to place this bet, Riggs. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because I'm down bad, man, and I need to win something. He had Hank, who, credit to Hank, was actually pretty hot. He threw a couple picks in there that actually ended up that they would have hit. But it's we're doing like Otani to have like 2 more bases, which I'm just like, that's a little too nuanced for me. And at the end of the day, I woke up quite simply and I looked at the board. I didn't even look at the money line. I didn't see anything. And I just said the Dallas Cowboys are obviously going to destroy the New York Jets. There's just no way. There's no way. That's all that matters. And I put that out there as a little feeler. And then I got to give credit to my man, Cody Frankie Beef, because I called Beef and I said, Beef, you know sports better than I know sports. We do all these road trips. We play the dozen trivia. You know fucking everything or a lot more than we know. And I said, I really like the Cowboys money line today. What do you like? And he said, I don't like it. I love it. He was like, let's go. And I said, let's fucking go. And then boy, oh boy, once we placed that, you know, there's a lot of other things at play too, which people right now, it's pretty easy. It's fun. The Cowboys beat the Jets and everybody kind of forgets about it. If that bet lost, it would be the most scrutinized thing all week long. I'd be on the Unnamed show. I'd be on every gambling show that we got. Every sports betting social media account in the world, well outside of Barstool Sports, would have been posting the entire slip being like, can you believe this trap bet moron put $80,000 on the Dallas Cowboys? And instead, they go out there and they fucking win. And when people are out there and are like, you know, let's take a long shot or let's do that, what people got to understand is that, you know, when people are saying like, this is such a square bet, this is like, yeah, I'm trying to get those chips off the table. That's what we were trying to do here.
Right.
Because we went out there in the Ryder Cup. And if people got to realize that the whole journey and the point to getting to this $80,000 is we had to go out there. We had to draft better than they had to draft. We had to go out and put pairings up better than they put pairings out. We had to go out and play golf better than they played golf. And then when we had an opportunity on the final day to just match up the lineup and get an easy win, we said, no. We're not going to go around your best players and Ryan Whitney and Kirk Minahan. We're going to go right fucking through them. And that's what we did and went out and won. And then if all of that culminated with us just having a very public $80,000 loss, do you know the Chicklets guys would be coming out of the woodwork being like, what do you mean they won the Ryder Cup? They just lost more publicly and embarrassingly than anybody else possibly could have. Everybody would have been down our throats. So yeah, part of it, the money is great. But a big part of it, too, was like the only way to put a stamp on this 2025 Ryder Cup performance, so we got all the golfers at Barstool Sports out there, the only way to put a stamp on that bad boy is to get a win, get those chips off the table, and say thank you for coming. And that's what we did.
Yeah, it worked out about as good as it can for us. We did. We dominated the Ryder Cup, and then we got the bet. And there was a few thoughts in that group chat of like, well, I mean, the other side of it is, all right, it's free money, essentially. It's a free roll. So if you want to bet like a plus 300 and try to really make a bunch of money on this, you could do that. But we were more like, like you're saying, to finish this thing off in a successful and dominant and relentless fashion, winning that bet was a big part of it. And we did that. There's still people, these are my favorite people on the internet, by the way. And there's a lot of scrutiny that happened when we placed the bet and before the game started and as it was happening. The best people, the number one people, are the people, once the bet wins, they still tell you it's a terrible bet. And it's like, the gambling Twitter community and every niche community, the golf Twitter, every little niche Twitter is like insane. But when they're like, that bet sucked, even though it won, I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you.
No, they're the worst people in the world. The only thing that we got like railroaded on was the fact that it was like an extremely public bet, and it's a very rare instance in which the line switched because we placed the bet a little early before like the inactives were announced, right? So like we placed the bet, call it like 11:45. At 12 o'clock, they announced that 4 of the 5 offensive linemen for the Cowboys are now out, and CD Lamb is out. So it's like, all right, the whole entire world is like, now
that was a nerve-wracking moment in this household when that happened.
Right. So it's like we placed it prior, right? So even like I wrote in the group chat, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like now the line's like plus 100. Could have gotten an extra 30 grand if we win this thing, if we waited 20 minutes. But like, so that's why I think a lot of people were like, well, not necessarily was it. It wasn't a bad pick in the sense that they didn't think the Cowboys were going to win. It was like 10 more minutes and it probably could have been $170,000 in payout. But then once you start to like divide it, once you start to nitpick at like an $80,000 bet, you're becoming the asshole. Like, you
It
got to
also
just
could have
get a
gone the
win.
other way after 25 minutes. Like, nobody
Right.
knows that. Like,
That's
they knew
right.
that in hindsight, but it could have been
100%.
that the Jets were announcing a bunch of injured players and the line could swing the other
Right.
way. So it's like, that's just
100%.
why it
100%.
works that way.
Yeah. No, it was a nerve-wracking hour leading up. Also, I'm like
Oh,
a
boy.
Jets fan, so I'm thinking the Jets have fucked me my whole life. I've never seen the Jets do anything successful. They've been to a couple AFC championships with the Rex Ryan days and Mark Sanchez, which is like, wow, there's a lot going on there. Ton going on with Mark Sanchez. And then like the butt fumble, everything. That guy's just had quite the trip. But now it's like the day that you expect them to lose. I'm going into this Sunday before you even send that text message. I'm texting my buddies being like, is anyone even watching football today? Like, they are going to get fucking crushed. You send that text that we're going Cowboys money line. I'm out at a freaking cider farm with my kid and like my godson, my family. I checked that text like 20 minutes after it was sent. After it was placed, I checked that text. After it was placed, and I said, holy fuck, the Jets are absolutely going to win today.
Yeah.
1,000% is this the game they win. Then I start seeing the public opinion. I'm like, oh my God. Like, everyone thinks the Jets are going to win today. And I know they're going to win. This is what they do. They fuck it up. They won a game 2 years ago before trying to draft Trevor Lawrence. They won the last game of the season, and like, they just didn't get Trevor Lawrence. They got Zach Wilson. So it's like, at the end of the day, they always screw up things in my life. I thought for sure the fact that you beat that, like, you beat the Jet curse for a Jets fan, that's incredible. Like, the Jets needed to lose that for me.
I'm with you. All of that between like 11:40 and 1 o'clock was all happening really, really fast. And was when it was all conviction. I called beef positive. This is it. I looked at it 100 times. I said, the Dallas Cowboys. I just watched a documentary. I'm all fired up about Jerry Jones. They're playing against the Jets, who are awful, like they always are. I just sent Ryan Richard just sent the stats. The Jets are the first team since 1933 to have 0 takeaways through 5 games. So they're as bad as it gets. And I'm just like, I'm not even betting on the Cowboys. I'm just betting that the Jets cannot win a football game. They're horrible. But then it did pop up, Frankie, where I was thinking they're going to go like 1-16, and this is going to be their one victory of the entire season, where it's like they just had a miracle afternoon. And so all that was racing through my head. And then it got to the point, too, where it's like, obviously incredible start, disastrous performances from the Jets. And then you're thinking, this is really going to hurt if we're up like 20-3 and they somehow lose this game. So that part of it was very nerve-wracking. But end of the day, they got it done. They got it.
Yeah, I mean, and then also you got to think, and you kind of laid this out in the beginning, but like when we're playing the Ryder Cup, Dave announced we're playing for $10,000 a guy. So you're like, the nerves are real high. You're playing golf. You're trying to win all of this money. And at the end, he says, all right, you're not going to get the $10,000. You have to bet it. So now Riggs essentially turned $10,000 into $18,000 for 8 different people, which is an insane accomplishment. Like, that is huge. Anyone saying that that's like no value or whatever, we had to like win multiple things to get to $18,000 per person. It will be taxed. Shout out to Jersey Jerry. So it'll be like 14,000 or something like that. But yeah, it's a huge win. And then shout out to me and Trent, who we talked since the Ryder Cup bet was even announced back when we were at Great Horse. We're like, oh, we're probably just going to hedge it. And just like if Dave really wants this bet, we're going to kind of be pussies about it. And we'll just like hedge the side of it.
Fair.
And we'll guarantee ourselves like $9,000, right? Like maybe the high side will be $10,000. The low side will be $6,000. And we'll guarantee ourselves some money. So Trent called me right when the bet was placed. He's like, what are we doing about this hedge? And we're kind of talking it through. At one point, I'm like, listen, I think we just got to go with this thing. I might throw a little bit on, because the only problem was that there was no line to hedge it. Like, it was 1.5. And then the line flipped. So then it was like Jets were favored -1.5. So you really couldn't hedge. You could only hedge money line. We were trying to find a sweet pocket to go right into the middle. I don't know what that gambling term is, but there is a term where you can just like hit both.
I like that sweet pocket.
That sweet pocket, man. So like we were looking for that. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hold. Trent held. I don't know if Francis ended up holding. I know he was a big hedge guy. I don't think anybody else. Did Beef end up hedging? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think Beef had been talking about hedging, but I really don't know. I could ask him.
I hope he didn't, because it ended up being a freaking blowout.
I don't think that he ended up doing it, because I was with him all weekend at Pinehurst at the DraftKings event, and we were talking that morning on rocking chairs outside of Pinehurst. I think he ended up not doing it. But yeah, Frankie and I mean, we sent maybe a million texts to each other, like while the game is going on, like trying to figure out like what's going to happen, where's the line, what do we want to do. And at one point, we just held our nuts and we're like, the Cowboys are just going to win this football game.
Well, at one point,
yeah.
Jets and the Cowboys looked like a pretty even team through like
Yeah.
1.5 quarters. And like you were thinking to yourself, all right, like, because at the end of the first half is where things really started to get messy for the Jets.
Mhm.
Like that last drive was insane. Getting the ball back with 30 seconds left, they ended up scoring a touchdown. It was over then. But like up until that point, you're like, all right, maybe they can keep this game within 9. So now you start to lie. You're thinking about it live. But at one point, I like went into I like attached my bank account so that I could like put in $4,000 and I was going to start like betting the Jets like plus 9.5. And then I just like looked at myself and I'm like, you're not putting $1 on the New York Jets right now. We are riding this thing. We're going to win $18,000 because I started to get like this fantasy of like winning it all. Like we're going to find that pocket. The Jets are going to come back. They're going to make it like a 7-point game. They're going to lose. And everyone's going to say it was the first half. That end of that first half was going to be the nightmare. So I'm so glad, long story short, I'm glad I didn't touch any of it. I just watched stress-free football and we won $18,000. So shout out to Riggs. That's insane. And then Jersey Jerry on the other side won a $16,000 parlay. So
I saw that.
$36,000 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Just a hell of a day for our guy, Jersey Jerry.
Jerry was fired up. He's putting out videos and he's texting me on the side being like, I believe in you. I believe in you. And I'm like, it doesn't sound like you do, Jerry. And then we went out there and he had just an all-time day for Jerry. So yeah, it was all these things being considered. And like I said, at the end of the day, that the sweet pocket that you're talking about, I don't have the arithmetic to find that. I know that that's just a blind spot for me. I just do not. I can never figure that shit out. I get like a very simple hedge, obviously, but you're right. When the line's moving and then you're like, there's a way I could win both ways. Then I was panicking that if I try to do something like that, I'm going to end up what almost happened with me with the Ryder Cup, where it was like, I almost lost both ways. I almost had my country lose and lost all the money. And so you're like, that would be, of course, for me, it doesn't know how to do this shit, where I ended up with. And, I was just saying, I pretty much, when it comes to everybody's trying to find the value, it's like, I pretty much bet on like Rory and Scottie to win majors and golf tournaments. That's like as deep as my betting now when it goes. And so when you're in this world, man, it is. Everybody's got some takes. And my favorite one is also yours, Trent, where it's like, even though you hit and you won all that money, that was a terrible bet. That was just that's a god awful bet. You can't be proud of that one. So enjoyed the hell out of it. What a ride. And yeah, we've had a hell of a 2025 with the Barstool Ryder Cup performance. So big thanks to Dave with the bet. And yeah, we got $18,000 coming our way. So
dude, I was texting Frankie after the game yesterday where we also had our Razorbacks go Hogs when we did the the March Madness thing. Like we've been the foreplay boys.
That was all Frankie.
Say what you want. That was all Frankie. The boys have been hot this year with a little bit of gambling. So there's a lot of critiques, a lot of criticism, but it's been pretty good.
Those are some nice hits, man. Those are, again, these are realms that I would say we're not our greatest in. It's like college basketball. Are we a college basketball show all the time? All of a sudden. So yeah, it was thrilling. It was incredibly nerve-wracking until the end of the first half. And then it was like, all right, I think at this point we could probably handle this from here. Okay. Moving on. We got a couple other things to discuss. That I know somebody mentioned earlier, this Mark Sanchez story is one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen. When that came across my radar,
there's still like not enough news about exactly what happened. There's all this like hoopla and what people are guessing. I saw KFC put up a video and Captain Khan's guess about it was his news source, which was funny. But like, and I totally could see like how he got from A to B on that. Like they think that a lot of people think that Mark Sanchez got into an Uber and the guy was just like, he was probably intoxicated and the guy's like, I'm not going to drive you. They got into an altercation because of that. And the guy ended up self-defending himself, stabs him. But I mean, did you see the picture of the guy in the freaking hospital bed that Mark Sanchez beat the shit out of?
No.
Allegedly?
No, I've only seen the two reports. I saw the first report where it was like, holy shit, Mark Sanchez got stabbed. And I was like, what the hell? And then like a day or so later, it was that he got arrested. Those are the only two things I've seen.
Dude, the photo of this guy. Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, this guy is not in a good spot.
Insane. Just one of the craziest stories. I mean, this coming out like over the weekend too, while you're kind of like, you're not as plugged into the internet. It's a Saturday. And then like trying to put the pieces of this all together as it was coming out. He's supposed to be on the broadcast. You're just like, what in the hell is going on? What in the hell is going on? So yeah, wild story. Absolutely wild story.
Yeah. Insane, dude. And speaking of, I mean, like that picture just reminds me of just emergency rooms. I'm watching this show, The Pit. You guys see The Pit on HBO?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
It won a ton of Emmy awards. It is, and I don't even know how to like put it into the category of acting because like basically it's just so there's 15 episodes and it's a 15-hour shift in an emergency room in Pittsburgh. So
Okay.
like episode 1 is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it just keeps going. So like it's all one day. And obviously a lot happens in one day. It's an emergency room. It's Pittsburgh. A lot of things happen. So like it's worth a whole series. But the acting in this is like hard to even put your like finger on because like they are legitimately so believable as doctors. And I've read so much on this because I'm so into the show that like surgeons and emergency doctors and all these people like can't believe these are actors. The terminology they're able to use, how fast they're talking, how long some of the conversations are around a patient. Dude, this show really has like no meaning aside from just showing cases. Like it's just case after case. They're running around. They're like legit showing babies coming out and like heads being open and hearts pumping. I don't know how they fucking did like this. I don't know how they did the because it's all like practical what's the word I'm looking for? Like not CGI. It's like
I know what you mean. Practical
props.
might just be the word.
It's like practical props and stuff. Like it's actual like bodies and like, dude, it is so worth watching because it makes you just you can't believe that these human beings live amongst us that go out there. And I said this when like when my dad got heart surgery. Like these people are legit. Like they are gods on our earth. It's nuts that they and it really like paints it shines a light on like they have no money, like even like the residents and like all the people that are, you know, the student doctors that are just getting out of school, they're in so much debt and like they could barely have a place to live, but like they are just grinding on just keeping people alive. People come in with like the craziest shit of all time and they're like, my life is dedicated to just keeping you alive. And if I get it wrong, it sticks with me for the rest of my life. You have no idea who I am, but you've been plopped here on my bed and I have to now save you. And if I don't, it's going to ruin my life. But it's like, it's just like a crazy existence. And like, just shout out to all those people that work in that. Like, that's what this show does is like, you want to go to a hospital and drop off like, you know, dessert and food for these people. You want to do everything you can for these people to make them understand that you love what they do. And like, you like are so grateful. It's unbelievable, dude. This show is so worth watching. It's on HBO Max. It's very gory and it's like, it's anxiety inducing for sure because their life is anxiety inducing. It's nonstop, but God, is the acting good. I'm like, how are these people not like legit, just like surgeons and doctors now? Like they know enough to come off that way. They might be able to actually save a life in real life. That's how much they know. It's crazy.
All right. I'm going to watch that one.
I'm jacked up about it.
I do need a new show.
Before we fully move on from the Cowboys game, I just want to give a shout out to Greg Olsen. He is the number one color analyst for me. I can't.
He's great.
You know, normally on a Sunday, I'm jumping around so much, looking at different games, watching Red Zone, watching whatever, that I don't stick on a game for the full game. But having a full game of Greg Olsen, I don't know how anybody's better than that. And it's just a real joy to watch a football game that he calls. I know there's a lot of talk about like Brady and Romo and Collinsworth. There's a bunch of good ones, but I think Greg Olsen is number one.
He's just the man. He gets it. And it comes across so genuine and natural. You see the video of Greg Olsen coaching like a little, like, you know, I don't know if it was a middle school team or a high school team. And then he was mic'd up. I think it's on his Instagram. He's starting to put out this content of him. And I think maybe his dad coaching like a high school team and the way he talks to these kids. It's almost worth playing and just listening to how he talks to them. It's a quick little clip. I think it's on Greg Olsen's Instagram. This guy is just, he's born to be a guy that talks about football and like a leader and just like describe things very, very simply to you. And it makes you feel like you know what you're talking about.
One of the OG Barstool guy, Stool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Been around.
Kickball tournament in Chicago. That was like one of the first big videos. Yeah, and he's on Wake Up Barstool, I think, every Monday with it's like him and Gruden do a segment.
They still doing that because I know Dave roasted his outfit and he's like, I'm never going to come on the show again.
Oh, he called him an umpire. He called him. Yeah. But he does a hell of a job calling football games. There's just so much insight that you just don't see that he really adds a ton to it. So that was another good part of yesterday, was being able to listen to him.
That part, when I do watch football, is interesting to me. It's a guy who like didn't grow up playing it. Trent, obviously you were, big linebacker, right?
Yeah, linebacker.
It's like when they do truly, because there's so much strategy, as people know, in football, where it's like my sport, hockey, there's strategy, but it's pretty much like you just run your lines and put your 5 guys out there and they kind of like just play. It's very instinctual. There's so much strategy in football that when you get somebody like Greg Olsen who can break down all the analysis, that really is like gripping to me because it's a lot of shit that I just don't know.
I also don't think people realize how impressive it is to watch a play in real time and then be able to break it down and speak it back to you in 17 seconds. Like the fact that he can watch it happen and then they'll bring the play back and replay the play and he's already drawn and shown what happened. It's an incredible skill and he's really good at it.
Yeah. Shout out to Greg Olsen. He's the man. He is the man. All right. I got a couple other things here for our little administrative purposes. Next week, big golf match, Kirk Minahan. I was on Kirk's show last week, kind of hashing this out. Whitney was in studio. Kirk challenged me a month or so, maybe a couple months ago, and just texted me and said, I would like to play in this hater series because there's a lot of documented evidence that I hate you at times. And I said, that sounds great. Let's do it. And so now we were negotiating the strokes. I believe we have settled on 4.5 strokes. It's going to be, and all fans are not just allowed, but they are encouraged. We're going to have the beverage cart following along. So we're going to have the open tab going if anybody would like a beverage. I know it's early on a Wednesday, but you never know with people. Fun event. So 9 a.m., Granite Links in Quincy, Massachusetts on October 15th, which is next Wednesday. Myself and Kirk in just a prideful one-on-one golf match play, giving 4.5 shots at Granite Links.
And Frankie, you're on the bag, right?
Yes, sir. On the bag for Riggs.
Frankie's on the bag.
Going into the lines then. It's like this is an away game. This is how Europe, I guess, felt going into Bethpage. We're going to their backyard. There's going to be a lot of Kirk Minahan fans, as expected. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be intense. They're going to be against us. But yeah, hopefully we have as much support as we can get. And yeah, it's going to be a hell of a match. So the 4.5, I've actually, as much golf as I've played in my life, I've never heard anyone get 4.5. So that means if you guys just like push a hole, well, I don't understand what the half is.
Yeah, no, it is rare, but essentially it'll come on whatever the third hardest hole on the front 9. And it'll just be added to basically his score. So what that means, like we can't tie the hole. It's impossible. So if I make a 4 and he makes a 4, he has a 3.5 because he's getting half a shot. So he would win that hole, or the other way around. If he makes a 5, I make a 4. He would have a 4.5. I would have a 4, and I would win the hole. So it really just makes it like a stroke, except you can't tie the hole. You can only win or lose the hole.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, he's getting 4.5, which means the back 9 he'll just get 2. The front 9 he'll get his 2.5, and hopefully that half shot won't matter as much coming down the stretch and whatever on the back 9. So yeah, it's look, Kirk is. There's been stretches where I've been on the Kirk Minahan show many times, couldn't get along better. We're talking about golf. There's one time Kirk was down here a couple years ago during the original Ryder Cup. We took a lovely golf cart ride around Pinehurst. I was pointing out a lot of my favorite trees and spots around Pinehurst to him. And then there's times where we're not even on speaking terms. And every other day, there's a clip that comes out from the Kirk Minahan show of him just burying me and burying us. So you never really know where I stand with Kirk. People ask me, over the last couple of months, they're like, what's the deal with Kirk? Is that serious? Or is that content? I'm like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have no idea. I think it's probably a little bit of both all the time. But point is, Kirk's MO is he, of course, has about as rabid of a following as anybody at Barstool Sports. The Mina fans, they rally around Kirk. They always have. Kirk's gone at a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons in the Barstool universe and beyond. And so it's sort of, if that's Kirk's thing, which it is, and we're going to do a golf match, like we said, it's like we're going to go right into that Lions den and we're going to give it everything we got, Frankie. So any support that we can get will be much appreciated out there.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I believe a new Breaking 85 is coming out this week, Trent, from Woodlock, where you guys went?
Oh, Woodlock Springs, Woodlock Pines. Frankie, this is a place that he has been going his entire life. And I think he's going to start going back there with his family. And he wanted to show me, he wanted to show Brendan, and then Kyle Timms was there, what this place was, what it was all about. They've got a great spa. Apparently the number one, the number one in the nation? The all-inclusive spa.
Yeah, this year they got that.
We got massages when we were there. They got a sauna room. They got a cold room. But yeah, we played the golf course out there. Beautiful golf course, really fun. It's the we played 9 holes, and we did the 2 Trents versus 1 Frankie. So that was one of the 9s. But we did a breaking 85, played 18 holes, and it was a pretty damn good round. It just, people got to watch it. We had a really good time out there.
Yeah, it's a resort course, but like not too resorty. So like a lot of the local people that live in that Poconos area love to travel to this golf course, regardless of if you're staying there. It's a very, very fun track. They only have like 10 or 11 guys on staff that work on this grounds crew, and what they're able to accomplish with how insane some of these holes are. They have huge gorges that you have to hit over, and they've got all these insane, elevated tee boxes going down into split fairways, and they mow all these amazing lines into like the huge drop offs of rough. And it's a beautiful, beautiful golf course, especially now with the fall foliage. I got to be able to make my way upstate and then into like that Western PA, or I guess that's Eastern PA. Yeah, that Eastern Pennsylvania.
I would think it'd be Eastern.
That's that Eastern Pennsylvania area. That Poconos area is incredible. I just don't utilize that enough. I'm never going like north, and I'm never going west of New York. You know what I mean? Like I'm always staying on Long Island, or I'm traveling like really far away from it. I got to start utilizing it, because we went up once to Turning Stone, which is like up in I think it's like Rochester maybe. I went there once. We had a wedding up there, and I played this place, Turning Stone. I think I talked to you guys about it. It was like the most incredible golf course I'd ever seen. And I saw Garrett Clarkson going there like crazy. He's obsessed with it. I saw that too. He's played there like 3 or 4 times over the last couple of weeks, I feel like. He just keeps posting about it. So yeah, no, it's a really great spot. It's just different golf than what I'm used to. Everything's pretty flat here on Long Island. So really, really great to get out there. And Woodlock Pines. I'm going out there for like a little Halloween trip with the family, dressing up little Frankie as a Frankfurter and the whole deal. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah,
it'll be a hot dog.
For recreational golfers, we have entered the best time of year. The fall foliage, fall golf, the views out there, the looks, the aesthetic of all the leaves changing colors with like a lot of the certain parts of the country, a lot of that like golden hue in the fescue and around the fairways and bunkers. The courses are so primo. A lot of them probably aerated a month or so ago, so they've now come in, and you got another, depending on where you live, but you got another month and a half now to play, and these next 3-4 weeks are just as primo as it gets. When you do get out there on the weekend, you play in the morning, and then when you get done on Saturday midday, there's college football all day. When you get done Sunday midday, there's NFL football all day. It's just the primo time of the year if you're a recreational golfer over here right now.
Yeah, it's Instagram worthy every hole, no matter where you're at right now. Like it can make the shittiest golf course look pretty. Every color of the trees is a different color. It's all changing. It's yellow, orange, brown. It's amazing. I've got some good golf lined up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully it all comes through, where I'm really going to try and take advantage of this fall foliage. I mean, it's so nice out. Like I'm looking right now, like the weather, we're not getting any rain here on Long Island, so I'm sure that's going to change once I said this, but it's 77 degrees today, and it's like you can't even imagine that in the middle of October, beginning of October. Next week's going to be 72 degrees and sunny too. It's just sun and 70s. It's perfect right now.
Oh, it's a dream. It's a dream. I'm down in North Carolina for about 3 weeks right now, and it's just been like 70 and sunny every single day. So yeah, get out there and enjoy it, everybody. Make sure you enjoy this time of year, because winter's going to hit, and then there's not going to be any golf for a lot of people for a long time. So make sure you get ready for that.
Next week's going to rain all week.
I actually just looked at the forecast too. Like Pinehurst looks like rain over the next like 5 days.
Saturday to Wednesday.
That's good. That's good.
College football season is in full swing, which means tailgates, cheering crowds, and the excitement of being in the stands before kickoff are happening. 2, ever find yourself at a tailgate and decide to grab tickets last minute? Well, that's where Game Time comes in. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. The Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans, to you. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. We've used Game Time a bunch of times this year to go to really cool events, from shows to games to all kinds of great stuff. You got to have Game Time. You got to have it ready to go. You got to be checking it.
Oh, yeah. I've gone to a bunch of concerts. I went to Dead and Company. I went to Billy Strings. They've got all of them on there. And also, playoff baseball is now in full swing. And if you've ever been to a playoff baseball game, You know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you need to experience it. The tension you feel, the excitement, the highs, the lows, all of it. It really is what living is all about. You go into these events and having some sort of experience, and Game Time really helps you out. As the event gets closer, the tickets go down. So you can get them last minute, you can get them for a good price. You go to something, you have a good time, you talk about it for the rest of your life, and that is what it is all about, folks.
That's a fact. You just got to get out there. You got to do it. You got to live. You got to check things out. So once again, go make sure you check out the Game Time app. We got hockey coming back too. I'm looking at there's some Yankees tickets for $82. There's some Knicks tickets that are going to be around if you're in the New York area for $87. Giants game $133. So all kinds of good options on the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets this fall with Game Time. We've all been to a bunch of college football games, by the way, and they're awesome. Been to SEC game, all kinds of good stuff. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Can a home security system really call itself security if it only responds once somebody is already inside? Simply Safe is different because it can stop crime before it happens. AI-powered cameras, they detect threats while they are still outside your home and alert real security agents. This is the game changer. The agents take action while the intruder is still outside. They confront the intruder, letting them know they're being watched on camera and that police are on their way, and even sounding a loud siren and triggering a spotlight if needed. I've had Simply Safe here at my home in North Carolina for years and years and years. It is truly incredibly simple to have set the whole thing up, to be using the app, to have everything I need here, protecting the home when I'm in town, when I'm not in town, all of it. Simply Safe's been huge for me.
Yeah, I got Simply Safe. I mean, I have it right now. Someone just dropped off a bunch of boxes of diapers. So, I mean, I literally just happened 3 minutes ago. I got the notification. I've got cameras all around my house. It is incredible. It keeps us very, very safe. And also just like, you know, when we were in the basement last night watching the pit, you have I got the surround sound going on down there, and you hear all these noises and you're like, oh, what is that? You check the Simply Safe like crazy. You're like, is there someone on our freaking front porch? No, I've got 3 cameras pointing out there. We're looking right now in real time that no one's out there. It's just such a sense of security, and you just feel so safe with it. And it's been unbelievable. I've had it since the day that we got into this house. I installed Simply Safe around the house, and it's been perfect ever since.
Right now, by the way, my listeners can save 50% on a Simply Safe home security system at simplysafe.com/foreplay. That is simplysafe.com/foreplay. There's no safe like Simply Safe. I saw a little report here. LIV Golf UK has lost over $1.1 billion. You guys see this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this report coming out, I guess I didn't really realize it, but LIV Golf, the UK and all that's about to enter its like 5th year, I guess, coming up next year since its inception. It says LIV Golf has lost over $1.1 billion. Accounts filed to the United Kingdom's Companies House earlier this month. Evidence LIV Golf's UK arm lost more than $461 million in 2024 alone. The 54-hole league's UK-based organization wound up losing $461.8 million in 2024, on top of almost $396 million in 2023, $243 million in the 18 months until the end of 2022. In terms of revenue, LIV Golf Investments Limited brought in $65 million last year and just over $37 million in 2023. So when you're sending out $1.1 billion and you've only got, 65 million, 37 million coming in, just not a great sign. So I know we really, in the last 3-4 months, haven't talked about LIV Golf much, which is wild because for about 2 years, it was the only thing that we talked about. It does seem to be a bit of an interesting development, whereas like it was the only thing, and we use like the Barstool Classic as a barometer a lot, or talking on the phone with my dad as a barometer a lot of like what people in the golf world are talking about and caring about. They would always ask us about, what do you think about this LIV? What's going to happen? For whatever reason, haven't heard any of that really, I feel like, in the last 3 or 4 months, like I said. And it's almost, I don't know if it's how successful it has felt like the PGA Tour has been this year, with Rory winning so many big events and winning the Masters tournament, with Scottie winning so many events and winning 2 of the majors, and all of that part of it looking like it's so healthy. The ratings they kept, it felt like CBS just kept posting every other week about like these record ratings that they were having, biggest ratings they've had in 5-6 years for this tournament, that tournament, all that. I guess maybe that has just sort of cleared the LIV versus PGA Tour narrative like off the table for a little while. But yeah, when I saw that, I found that to be, a little shocking. And then my next takeaway was like, man, it really does feel like we thought the game just cannot survive this divide forever. Something's going to have to happen. They're going to have to come together. And now it's almost like, no, they can just like continue going as is, and the tour is going to be fine. And LIV's losing X amount of money. And yeah, so it was just, that's an interesting little tidbit for me. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I think the reason it drove conversation initially is because disruption is interesting. When you've got guys who are jumping from one tour to the other and it's big names and it's like, holy shit, how many guys are going to jump? Is it going to be all of them? Is Rory going to jump? Is Tiger going to jump? What's the money? Wow, all these guys are getting paid. Is there going to be a return on this money? Like there's a lot of talking points that you can get with disruption because it is super interesting. And it hadn't really happened to an established league or a tour like it happened to the PGA Tour a couple of years ago.
Right.
And then what happens, and it's kind of what you were just talking about, once that stops happening, once the big names stop jumping, the less big names people can attach themselves to and be like, what do you think about this guy going? And the more it becomes nameless, faceless guys negotiating a deal that feels like it's never going to happen, it just becomes two golf leagues. And that on its face is not that interesting. It's just two professional golf leagues. We all thought, like you said, oh my God, something's got to give. It's got to break through at some point and they got to come together. Otherwise, this sport that we love at a professional level is going to die. That was wrong. It's thriving. It's doing fine. And it is because of the Rorys and the Scotties of the world who are just always going to bring eyeballs no matter what tour they are a part of. And LIV is just another golf tour. And that is not interesting to talk about because it's like, oh, they play events. The other one plays events. It's not as disruptive. It's not as spicy or salacious. It's just two tours are just playing different golf events now.
Yeah, I actually met a couple people from LIV at the Ryder Cup after it all finished up. I was grabbing some food in the media center before I took the bus back to my car, and a couple of people came over to me, introduced themselves. They definitely have a lot of new people, a lot of new faces over there. I know, was it Scott O'Neill that took over? He was like 76ers, Devils, comes from like the NBA, NHL. He runs like a huge partnership or a huge like global company, and now he's taken over LIV as the new CEO. I do think they have like ambitions to keep this thing going, keep competition strong, and keep growing internationally. I know that's like the one thing that they really, really like to hammer home is like they're going to be the ones that, like, to us, it might not feel like it's making as much of an impact, and I might just like be drinking their Kool-Aid because they're like, they're throwing the pitch at me. But like, I understood.
A nice conversation.
Well, I was also like, I was giving them a lot of honest feedback because they were hammering home the international stuff, being like, it might not feel as big of an impact for you guys. But like when we go to these places that do not get golf events and we're selling the amount of tickets that we are selling and we're making such a big impact, like that feels really big to us. And we think that if we continue to grow that, it's going to make waves in ways that it might not come across. Cause I kept saying the word come across my desk. I'm like, LIV stuff just doesn't get across my desk enough. When I wake up and like I do my daily morning scroll and I check like the standings of the MLB and I check, who's doing well at Islanders training camp. And like, maybe I'll check the PGA Tour to see how these guys are doing. Max Homa's like playing in like the FedEx Fall and he like just wants to be in the top 100. Like certain like little stories catch my eye and I read into them. And like, that's my sports knowledge. I'm a pretty avid sports fan. It consumes my life. I work for a sports company that's all we do. We like literally talk about golf, and LIV just doesn't get across my desk. Like there's just no storylines that I'm picking up. I don't care how the guys are playing. And that's not because of anything politically or anything allegiance wise, because we have merchandise at PGA Tour. None of that matters. It's just like the stuff just doesn't make waves right now in my phone across my desk. I'm not seeing it on ESPN. I'm not seeing it. So like I just said, I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know that you're ever going to get the general public to care about just like good golf and like you're making things like more accessible and easy for the players. Like I don't know if the general public of viewing sports cares that they're playing like 54 holes instead of 72. And I don't think they care that like the caddies are treated better. Like we just want to watch like big events that have real meaning. Like, you see the numbers. Like some of the lower tour events don't even get big numbers. Like you need to have the Players or the Masters or Major, or you got to have like the Waste Management Phoenix Open, where it's got to like have some sort of meaning somewhere for me to turn on my phone. And like I am a big golf fan, so yeah, I will check out maybe the more minuscule or like the minor, not the big major events, but the general public, the reason why it's losing all this money, it's like no one actually cares about all those little events like that. They don't just want to watch a couple of guys golf. And now with YouTube, there's so much golf viewing. They have so much competition now. Like that younger generation might just be like, oh, why would I watch that? I'm just going to watch these guys on YouTube. Like that might be happening with a secondary tour. We're already nervous about that with the PGA Tour over the next 50, 100 years. The future of professional sports, especially golf, it might lean more towards this like YouTube world. You never know. So then you split that up into another tour, and that's even getting less eyeballs on it. So I don't know. I really didn't have an answer for them as to why it wasn't like making its mark on me. And I wish I could have given them some like feedback. I was just like, it doesn't matter yet. I kept saying that. I'm like, nothing you guys do matters yet. And they were like, we understand. Like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? I'm like, it doesn't matter.
This thing
it's a Tuesday night hockey game.
You're working really hard on, it doesn't matter.
Well, no, like it doesn't actually have any meaning yet. Like, I don't know. It's just and that's not their fault. I kept saying it might be like just like a time thing. Like it might just need to be around for 20 years. And then all of a sudden it has meaning. I don't know what the answer is. I don't have it for you. I'm like, that's why you guys are getting paid to like figure that out. I'm like, I hope you do figure it out because one day I'd like to like see it work.
And I'm with you. I would never say to them either that like I doubt that it doesn't have any meaning to anyone there or to John Rahm. I'm sure it does, but you're right that for the larger like capturing that juice, I am with you. Even when it has a great finish at most of the events, it's like it just doesn't transcend for me to where I'm like, that's a huge deal. Whereas it still feels like when somebody wins a PGA Tour event, even if it's one of the lower level ones, a lot of times that almost has more meaning than when Scottie Scheffler wins another one, because that person, they get a 2-year exemption on the PGA Tour. It was like their lifelong dream. They're showing all these photos of them going to the course with their dad and their grandpa. And it was like their lifelong dream was to be on a PGA Tour and win a PGA Tour event. Everybody can understand that. And like, it still doesn't quite feel like that's anybody's lifelong dream. It still kind of feels like, almost like the FedEx Cup playoffs every event, where it's like, no, they just threw money at something to make it seem like it's super important. And like maybe over time it will be. And there are certain spots where it clearly is. I think like the LIV Golf Adelaide, which is the Australian one, right? Where it's like they got the party hole, they got the big crowds. It looks like there's places where clearly going and experiencing it, I'm sure would feel like when you're there, like, oh shit, this matters here. And I just put that on my list. My goal is I'm going to go to a LIV Golf event in 2026. Never been to one before. I don't believe anybody here on this show has been to a LIV Golf event. I would love to go check it out, see if I feel any different in real time. But it is like there's either a life-changing element or career-changing element for most people that win on the PGA Tour, or there's like a legacy-changing element depending on who it is. It's like when Rory wins one of these events, it's like that is going down and adding and padding to this all-time golf career and legacy. And you're like, fuck yeah, I can feel that. Same with Scottie Scheffler. When he wins one of these tour events, obviously the bigger ones, if you're winning the Memorial, you're winning the Players Championship, it means a ton. But it's like when you're adding them up, you're starting to look at the historical context, being like, holy shit, Scottie Scheffler is now won 20 events, and he's got a better career than Jordan Spieth, and he's done all of it in like 2.5 years. And it's like there's this element to it that you can perceive and understand how meaningful it is. And I'm with you where it's like that just doesn't feel like it's that meaningful. And when it does come across on the social clips, it hasn't quite gotten there yet. I commend them for trying to get there. It'd be cool if they do get there, because the more golf tournaments that exist that everybody seems to care about and they come off as like really important is only better for our game. But I'm 100% with you, Frankie. It just doesn't feel important when I see anything about it.
Frank, you brought up a good point. They have made it easier for the players. Like they're like, you're going to play less and you're going to make more. And for the viewer, you're like, awesome. That sounds awesome. Like 54, you're not going to play 72, you're going to play 54. And the viewers are like, awesome. It's like, there's not a ton of value there for us. Listen, looking back, I get why the Brysons and the Patrick Reeds and the
Oh, yeah.
Roms, like, they're like, here you go. Here's a fuck ton of money and you're going to do less. Somebody offers that to me. I'm like, oh, I want to do less, but I want to make more. But it doesn't do a ton for, yeah, what are they doing to get it like in front of people and like making the product better? That I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have like promising stats in terms of like actual fan engagement at the events. Because like when they go internationally, they sell out. The numbers are crazy. I know in Chicago they had a really big turnout. In Dallas, I think they were saying like maybe it was last year they had like 50,000 people show up over the 3 days. So I mean, that's not zero people, right? Like that's a lot of people going to watch a live event, and like that is making somewhat of an impact. So I think maybe similar to like PGL, where like when you're there, it's a really awesome experience, and it is awesome to, they got the music, they've got more access to the players, guys are being more interactive, stuff like that. It's just it hasn't for one reason or another, it just hasn't made its way through mainstream media yet, which is fine because they're still in their infancy stage. I'm sure they don't feel that way because they're losing $1 billion over 3 or 4 years, which is, it feels like we got to turn things around pretty quick. But like to us, it's when we're looking back in 25 years, if LIV is successful, this is the beginning. And that's kind of what I was telling them. Like, I hope this does, you guys right the ship, because I mean, you guys are only in the beginning. If you look back to the third year of the NHL, I'm sure it was a shit show. You guys just happen to be publicly losing $1 billion over the last couple of years. You gotta turn this around. So yeah, I mean, if you look online too, like Scott O'Neill's like vision board is to like create storylines for all the players and like find those PGA Tour like storylines of the guys that are just making it or the guys that are the breakout players, because that is what they need. They need people to care about those stories, and then those carry over into the majors, and then if they do well at the majors, they bring them back to LIV, and that's how you start to build legitimate like juice around something. That's what you need.
It really might just be time. Because we've talked about this for years now, where it might just take time to build it, because we were born into a world where the PGA Tour had been running for decades, and we're just like, all right, this is the league that I'm going to follow. This is the tour that I'm going to follow. And yeah, it's tough losing $1 billion a year. I don't know how sustainable that is now. The backers of LIV, there's a lot of opinions about those folks, but they have a lot of money, so they might be able to withstand
incredible amount of money. They got an incredible amount of money.
People would say the most, and they might have the means, and I'm sure they do. It really depends on the patience of it. Do you want to let it develop? Do you want to keep it going? That I don't know what that decision will be.
Yeah, look at the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup's a great example of like the Ryder Cup wasn't the Ryder Cup. There was like, and I talked about this with Shane Ryan quite a bit, where I was like, what year or years would you point to of like when the Ryder Cup became the Ryder Cup? And he was kind of going through it, talking. He's like, there's 3 different kind of like moments. And if you go look, and the fact that like we're talking about something, just everyone being able to tell that something is incredibly meaningful, to the point where the European players have now been able to find this wedge issue, being like, we don't even want to get paid. We would pay to be here. And that's how meaningful this whole thing is, to the point where in 2009, Rory McIlroy made those comments about like, it's just an exhibition. I don't even care about that. Why would I care about that? Till like 16 years later, he's bawling his eyes out and emotional, and it's the most meaningful thing he could ever have. So even something like the Ryder Cup, just having a little bit more time just for that individual person dramatically changed how meaningful it was to him. And when you go back and look through it, it was like up until the early 80s, there was like Seve was left off a team and like kicked off the team, not invited to the team in like the early 80s. And then by the mid 80s, Europe had totally revamped their team. They're finally able to get a win on foreign soil. And then you go to the War by the Shore in the early 90s, and like the Ryder Cup became what the Ryder Cup is. And that's in our lifetime that's happened. That's changed so much. So it's like, it might just be more time. It might just be like, no, you guys aren't doing things in this dramatically wrong way. Like, everybody maybe makes mistakes. You make tweaks. You try to improve the product. But like, it might just be that you need time.
The difference nowadays is the level of scrutiny and how fast it happens. Like, when you're doing this in the 70s or the 60s, you're operating where it's only newspapers and like radio broadcasts and some TV news broadcasts. Now, if you lose $1 billion in a year, everybody knows about it instantly. And that instantly becomes, that thing obviously doesn't work. Give up on it. Stop trying to do it. It's never going to work. So that is the difference to me, where TGL is a good example of that as well, where things get scrutinized so quickly and they get this negative narrative around them that people give up on it and people stop watching, and then it just ends immediately. So it's a product of like not giving things a chance in a highly like media saturated time.
Yeah, and it might be working and we just don't realize it. Like there might be people gravitating towards it. You got Bryson DeChambeau, who's one of your stars, who weekly puts out videos that are getting 3-4 million views on YouTube.
Allegedly, I think those are bots, Frankie. I think we confirmed that those are all bots.
Those might be just generating more hype and views towards the tournaments that he plays in. Like if he's got all these fans, they might start to move towards wanting to watch him all the time. And I bring up YouTube a lot when I'm comparing this, but like they're doing Live Duels, which is like a YouTube series that lives on Grant Horvat's channel or the Bryan Brothers channel. Like that does really well. And like they have all of their players playing in that. So like they are finding these little categories that they can do well in, and that might generate, business for the full thing. Like that might be what, they're doing really well in that area. I mean, Phil Mickelson has a channel with Grant Horvat. It does really, really well. Like Phil Mickelson is a Live player. All these Live guys are doing really well on YouTube. So it's an interesting play, and I think it might be the one that might work going forward.
My suspicion with that, and my gut says, the further we go with YouTube and personalities like Bryson and Phil, there will be more Bryson fans as opposed to I watched this golf league or this golf league. Like
we're not like PGA Tour fans. Like
no,
like
that's true.
Golfers.
But I don't know if I like the Live really does have the number one golfer in terms of eyeballs on planet Earth. And now again, it could be a time thing where it's like they haven't crossed over yet to the point where they're like, all right, I found this guy Bryson, I like him. What's his deal? What tour does he play on? But to me, it seems like it hasn't yet, and they already have the number one guy. And if you're a Bryson DeChambeau fan, you're a fan of his YouTube channel. I don't know how much further it's going to go than that. You might just be like, I love Bryson, and I'm just going to watch Bryson videos. Now, if you are Live, you got to be hoping that there's some crossover. That Bryson is a funnel from him to Live to the broadcast to the tour to everything. We haven't seen any evidence of that. It's still early for sure. But my gut and my suspicion is that people are just like, yeah, I like Bryson. I watch his videos.
Yeah, dude, the more you think about it, Bryson is an incredible human being and thing in the world of golf. He's incredible, dude. The fact that he is just full time, all in on YouTube, creating content, letting people in. He's chipping over, giving away Bentleys. He's chipping over his house. He's doing, and then he's also going out and like competing on hitting the first tee shot of the Ryder Cup and like driving it up near the green. He's winning the U.S. Open. Like the fact that he is able to do all of these things, you couldn't make that up if you tried. Like it was almost like Happy Gilmore 2 was almost like not even as ridiculous of like the fact that Bryson DeChambeau like exists and is what he is. It's like they did a whole storyline almost about him where it's like they just kind of magnified it a little bit. And he's an enigma, man. And it is interesting, like seeing that sort of, I guess I would call it a little bit of like a disconnect between like Bryson is from an eyeballs standpoint, views standpoint, as big as it gets. The series that he comes up with on social, crush it. The stuff that he does on YouTube, crushes it. When he's at a tournament, he has the biggest crowds. It's kids coming out everywhere trying to get autographs, everything. Yet, like the ratings, people just don't really watch him on Live even close to the conversion rate that you might expect. And that part of it is interesting. And it might just be people would rather see, like, I truly would rather watch Bryson try to go shoot the course record at one of these local courses in Dallas. I love that series. Than like tune in necessarily to see if he finishes fourth on Live on Sunday. I find that more entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. It's really hard because they're not as, CBS and NBC and wherever the PGA Tour is broadcasted. It obviously gets way more eyeballs than what Live is doing. But you put up the head-to-head final rounds average from 2025. Live Golf average approximately 175,000 viewers to the PGA Tour's 3.1 million. Now, the other side of that is Live is saying that there are so many other engagements on TikTok and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram that they are absolutely dominating, which I don't have the facts or stats to back that up. But we've said that to the PGA Tour before, where at some point you're gonna have to stop saying like this is like the only thing that sells. Like the viewership on the Nielsen rating of the 3.1 million people that watch Sunday is not the only people that are watching golf. Like the people that might be watching Bryson DeChambeau might be just wanting to see how he did in LIV when they do like the 9 and 90 recap on LIV's TikTok. And that might get like 10 million views. I don't know what the numbers are, but they're probably pretty happy with what's going on in terms of like the younger audience, the engagement. You know, I even after talking to those people at the Ryder Cup, like I don't think that they feel like it's a freaking that they're that dog meme where they're in a burning house. I feel like they think they have a lot of momentum, especially if you're on that team and you're going to these international events and you see 100,000 people showing up to an event and you're in a country that never got to see professional golf, and they're all starting to get all hoopla and all, you know, hooting and hollering, and they're like, we love this sport, we want to generate some professional golfers from this. They want to play in the LIV Golf League because that's the first golf that we've ever seen. That to me, I think gets the people going over there. Again, full circle to close this thing up on my end, just hasn't crossed my desk, which I don't know. I'm just like the average American viewer of sports, right? That's just like kind of how my brain operates. That doesn't mean that that's the say all be all on what's successful and what's good and what's not. Yeah. It's just like what piques my interest. There's a lot of weird things that pique my interest. I'm a weird dude, right? Like I'm a weird, Same. I'm not like, I'm watching The Pit. I'm watching all these weird shit. I'm just not watching LIV right now. Maybe one day they'll get me to watch it.
It is amazing to me, going back to something you said, that there isn't a formula for Nielsen plus TikTok plus Instagram plus Twitter. It's 2025 and the internet's been around for a while. There needs to be somebody smarter than the three guys here. And I remember when we brought it up at a PGA Tour meeting and we were like, you guys got to figure out a way to track everything. And they were like, we simply don't have that. And nobody seems to have it. But how influential the internet has become and will continue to be, the fact that there's not some sort of formula that an incredibly smart data person has come up with, where it's like, here's the score for this platform, this platform, that platform, you add them all together, and that's your actual impact, is pretty nuts that we're 25 years into the 2000s and we don't have one.
I couldn't believe that answer when we asked that question in the Creator Council meeting. And, look, like Barstool Beach House is an incredible example of like,
yes,
Dave went fully the other way with it, of like, there will be zero Nielsen ratings, zero YouTube views, zero anything. The entire operation is going to live on just engagements and views on social media. And that to me, like, I'm so curious, are they, of the tour and LIV, are they leveraging these deals with sponsors to include ads or watermarks or logos on social clips? Because it is like, even me, as like, we host a golf podcast, I very rarely, except for the big tournaments, I'm like sitting there glued into every shot on Saturday or Sunday of a PGA Tour event, but I know all the big stuff that happens through all the social clips. So it's like, if you are Sanderson Farms paying for, this sponsorship on a show, do you just get a commercial every 15 minutes on TV, or are they able to leverage it and say, no, we know we might be getting 2 million people that watches on Sunday, but guess what? We're going to get 15 million views and impressions over the course of 4 days that like we need to integrate your sponsorship dollars into. So like, right, they have to be doing something or evolving towards that either now or at some point, because if they're not, then it's like the number one way people are viewing your product isn't sellable to you. That's crazy town if that's true.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's with our own business, like what we do
Right
here. Like, we're not just selling YouTube views. Like, when we talk to a partner or a sponsor, we're able to sell the whole entire package, and those numbers are like astronomically larger than people listening to this probably even think. Like the number of the reach through TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it, like the blog, it just keeps going and going and going. You may see a video that has 220,000 views on YouTube, but like that to that partner, after all the clips have been posted and all the views have been tallied, it's in the millions, the tens of millions sometimes. So it is crazy that they haven't come up with a formula on that. I'm sure LIV is probably thinking that they're going to be the ones that, are this is their new frontier, that they're going to dominate that younger audience on all those platforms. And good on them. If they're the first ones to get to it, if they're better at it than the PGA Tour, they'll be more successful over the next 30, 40, 50 years because that's who they're going to be selling to. That's really the fight. That's what like the frontier is. It's like the younger audience that is obsessed with golf now because of the Bryson DeChambeaus, because of the Scottie Schefflers and Rory McIlroys, all these people that are really, really, really good right now. They have to be really good on social, which they are, and then bang, now you have a league that's all in on that. That's how you capitalize on it.
I don't know what that number is on how many hours I'm on my phone every day, like screen time. What is it, like 6 hours? You know what I mean? It's like a ridiculous amount. There's no way you're on. There's no way you're on like you're watching TV for that many hours. So it's just like that's just something that is where everything's going. I'm sure, and hopefully there's smart people that kind of understand all of that. But yeah, if we could give them the advice, it would be maybe they are doing better there and keep going, keep cranking. I'm a follower of all the LIV Golf League stuff. I'm a follower of a bunch of different of the teams. I see a lot of the stuff that they do. I enjoy. Like I very much enjoy the 9 and 90s or 3 holes with like John Rahm before they're getting ready for a LIV event. I consume the shit out of those. It's like same reason we post our own. Where it's like that's just good, entertaining, consumable content. Where you're like, I do want to see how this person that I'm invested in is playing, and it's quick hitter. You don't have to invest in the entire tournament. So yeah, I think bottom line, LIV's losing 1.1 billion. They've lost just in the UK thing. And at the end of the day, like Frankie said originally, probably got to turn that around at some point. Maybe they got a better grasp on it than it can appear. But I don't think it's my main takeaway is like we're not really at the same spot. It felt like we were in maybe a year ago where everybody's like the 2 leagues just can't exist. It's like actually maybe they kind of can, and like everything will be fine. Sort of what I
mean, we also see that number, and I'm sure business people that are smarter than us understand like how they got to that number. And I remember when I was working really closely with Dave, I was like his right-hand man, and he was dealing with all these different sports books and all the different strategies as to how they approached their business model. And like some would like, when Barstool was basically on its own, we were like the marketing engine, so you don't have to put that much money out there to try and get people to sign up for the app. But like other brands would have to spend a ton of money just to get people locked in, get a username, and once you're in there, like now you're a fan for life, right? Like you're in there, and like that's your company, that's who you're going to work with. So like they'll spend a ton of money, and I'm sure like Coca-Cola and all these different brands, they do the same thing where it's like you dump a ton of money into just getting eyeballs on this thing, and then the whole
marketing,
like the first 5 or 10 years is like we're gonna have losses that are unimaginable, but it will hopefully generate into lifelong fans, and then we'll start to see the returns after, and we'll be able to pull back the spending as much. So I mean, I don't know if that's the same model. I just know that like big massive companies have done that before, where it's like you'll see these brands that you can't believe don't generate a profit. You're like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Like you see their end of year lines, and you're like, what? Like that company loses money from year to year. It's like, well, no, they're just trying to get as many people doing their thing or wearing their stuff or whatever it might be as possible. And then the hope is it flips.
It's a great point because I just looked it up too, and it's like the NFL is expected to do over $25 billion a year in revenue. I think they did over $23 billion last year. And so then if you went and told someone like, hey, we're going to go try to compete, grab X percentage of this market share of the NFL, and we're going to lose $10 billion over 10 years doing it, I think people would be like, yeah, it's worth the risk because if that works out, you're going to have this unbelievably impactful business league, the whole thing. So yes, you do kind of see that number of like 1.1 billion sunk in. Golf ain't the NFL. And so like, how can you split them, and how is there going to be this road to the profitability? But it's like that also doesn't, I would guess 4 or 5 years ago that number would not have surprised the incredibly rich people that are behind it. I think that they probably been like, oh yeah, no, we know. That's pretty much what we're trying to do. We're trying to gain, Yasser's trying to get a membership at Augusta and become more influential in Western culture. And like, he's going to take over a little bit of golf. And so bottom line, we're probably not all smart enough to figure all of that out. I did think that number was, a little bit surprising. And maybe if they're still kind of confident on their side, it's going better than we think. And on the other side of it, maybe it's not, and they can't just keep losing money forever. So yeah, that's the latest LIV talk. We haven't talked LIV.
Amazon was the one I was thinking of. I'm sure you've listened to some sort of podcast about how he put all the money back into it and just kept never, ever, ever made a profit for like a decade. and was like, we're going to get this as many people with an Amazon account as possible. And at some point, that's just going to be a way of life that they're going to use that. And then they're going to be the richest company of all time. I don't know how that works for golf, but I think it's the same idea. They're like, we don't care about losing all this money. Plus, they have they're printing money over there.
Oh my God, they got unlimited money over there. Our newest partnership with Adidas, the iconic Adidas, gives us access to their full range of golf apparel and footwear, including their Originals golf range, top players, Ludwig Oberg, all kinds of great players. Colin Morikawa, they've had all kinds of history of great players rocking the Adidas gear as well. And now, as we kind of announced, the Fore Golf crew and the Original Sports brand, Adidas has shaped fashion and culture movements off the field of play for decades. So you got all kinds of lifestyle stuff. You got great golf stuff. You got a great assortment and mix with Adidas because they're as iconic and been doing it for about as long as anybody.
I love that hoodie, Frankie. I can't keep my eyes off it that you're
like
wearing.
this, right? It's a beautiful blue, super comfy. I can't wait to be wearing this all fall. I bought a bunch of these different style hoodies off of the Adidas website. Yeah, I mean, the golf stuff is incredible. I'm really happy with the quality, especially my style too, like the crew necks, the tight collared shirts, the tight pants. Now, like I'm getting it all kind of dialed in. I really love them. And we've all grown up wearing the Adidas shoes. The Adi Zeros are great, but for me, it's the Tour 360s are just the ultimate golf shoe. I wore them to Shinnecock and to West Hampton. People are looking at them. They're brand new, white on white. Everyone was commenting on them like, oh, those are real nice. To have those spikes too on the bottom just makes you feel so solid. Way too often I was wearing spikeless golf shoes. It just feels good to wear like a true golf shoe again. I really love it.
Absolutely, man. They got such good stuff and a ton of range. I've been wearing some outfits over the last several weeks. We got other accounts. We got golf content farming accounts that are taking screenshots of some fits and being
nuclear
like,
golf.
Oh, being like, what do we think of this? And it's great going through the DMs because you'll get 2 in a row where people will be like, that shirt is fire. And then you get another one where someone's like, I cannot believe that you are wearing that. And I love it because I told them it's like 9 out of 10 times I'm wearing pretty traditional golf stuff like I'm rocking right now. Adidas has all that stuff. And then I also love the fact that they've got this Originals line. I love the fact that I've been able to walk in a few times over the last couple of weeks. And when you roll into the pro shop, having those guys go, whoa, look at this fit. I've been texting with Splav all the time. He's like, I fucking love it. I love how into it everybody's getting. So I enjoy that part of it too. I like to rock all the more traditional performance looking gear that you're probably used to seeing. I like occasionally to be able to throw something on that's different, especially in the fall. And Adidas gives you all of that. The final chapter of the 2025 Originals golf range introduces elevated styling for the course, inspired by high fashion. So Adidas is the official golf apparel and footwear partner of Fore, and that includes their new Originals golf range, inspired by classic Adidas heritage, elevated with bold premium style. It's made to perform and built to stand out on and off the golf course. Check out the newest drop. Shop Adidas' latest golf gear at adidas.com/golf. That is www.adidas.com/golf. Golf is hard, but protein is easy with one Hershey's double chocolate made with 18 grams of protein, only 1 gram of sugar to deliciously fuel your golf game. I brought a bunch of these with me to North Carolina. I throw them in my golf bag every single time I'm out there playing. They're delicious. They get you all your protein. It's just the go-to snack right now.
Yeah, I've been traveling a lot as usual, and I've been on a bad run of getting delayed, and my day gets messed up and my eating schedule gets messed up. But I throw a couple of these 1 bars double chocolate in my backpack, and I'm eating them and I'm happy and I feel good, and I know there's not much sugar in it, so it's a great little snack to hold you over between meals if you need it. It's obviously great for the golf course. It's just great to have on you just in case.
Yeah, we're stocked here at our house, and it's been really nice to be able to throw those out to people. If we're like kind of in the move, maybe our house is like the meeting point, and then we're going out and doing things with the kids. Someone, oh, when are we going to grab lunch? Hey, I've got this bar for you. Throw them a 1 bar. It's like seeing their reaction and knowing that it is 18 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar on that double chocolate. That Hershey's chocolate is incredible. It tastes good. And it just gets you through the day, gets you to that next meal. I've been loving it. And obviously, we have them on the golf course with us, so it's been a great on-course snack as well.
They are phenomenal. They're really good. They got what you need with all the protein, 18 grams, only 1 gram of sugar. So make sure you buy the new One Hershey's Double Chocolate Protein Bar on Amazon. Once again, you can buy them on Amazon. They got other great flavors as well. So make sure you check out the new One Hershey's Double Chocolate Protein Bar on Amazon. Protein just got delicious. Quick shout out to our boy Alistair Docherty. Finished tied for third this past weekend on the old Corn Ferry Tour. They're in the Corn Ferry Tour finals. They only got one event left. French Lick is the Corn Ferry Tour Championship this next weekend. Folks recall it's been 1 year ago where Alistair finished one stroke out of getting his PGA Tour card when both those fellas made like a 12-footer and an 8-footer. On the last hole, the 71st or the 72nd hole, the last hole of the entire Corn Ferry Tour season. If one of those two putts would have missed, Al would be on the PGA Tour right now with his PGA Tour card, not still kind of grinding out there on the Corn Ferry Tour. But if folks recall, right before the U.S. Open, we had him on. He, of course, got into a car accident that, as anybody would imagine, messed up his year quite a bit. But very, very nice to see Al playing well. He's got essentially, I believe, the same Corn Ferry Tour status pretty much locked up for next year. And now it's just all about he's got to win. If he wins this next week, he's going to have a PGA Tour card. If he doesn't, we keep running this damn game back and trying to get through the Corn Ferry Tour, which is an absolute grind. We kind of mentioned it, but last year it was top 30 players on the Corn Ferry Tour get their PGA Tour card. Now it's only the top 20. So it ain't getting any easier out there. But regardless, a great week. He shot 23 under par. There was a 26 under par. And then there was a 33 under par who won the event. So you got to go low out there, but a really solid week for Mr. Docherty.
Yeah, I actually checked in on where he was at a couple weeks ago. I saw a lot of missed cuts, and I was just like, damn, like Alistair's just not firing the way that it was last year. But obviously, I actually forgot about the car accident and like how much that can derail everything that you've got going on, all the momentum, physically, mentally, everything that's going on. What this guy's gone through, I mean, over the last 3 years is absolutely insane. The fact that he's still grinding out there. I mean, yes, he has won a couple of events and done well enough to like keep himself solid, and like he's probably not as financially screwed as he used to be, but like still grinding from event to event, wanting to get that card, secure his financials, secure the rest of his life. This is his goal. This is his dream. He's so close to it. Last year, it's like you want to keep saying like that was the year, that was the chance. It's like each year we keep coming up with these things where it's like, God, that was the chance. Now that was the chance. It's got to be so mentally exhausting for him.
Absolutely. And to get that close, and I know too, like he believes, I think we all kind of believe that like he probably has a better PGA Tour golf game than he does Corn Ferry Tour golf game, where it's like his ball striking is phenomenal. He hits the ball long and straight. Almost the longer the club you have in his hand, the better he is. So the tougher golf course setups that you play, he might have more of an advantage there than he does when it's more of a wedging and putting contest, which he doesn't have as much of an advantage over the field as the other. So all that, it's like if we could just get on the tour, guys, we'll be in fucking great spot. It's like we're getting close. But yeah, it's a lot of ups and downs. That's what it is. We've had him come on next week. Al will be here in Pinehurst with me, so we'll get him back on the show and do just sort of a whole update. I know we had him on right before the U.S. Open, and he was talking us all the way through that final round. He's almost like withdrew after the first round of that 36-hole day, and then all of a sudden turned it on and qualified for the U.S. Open. So again, a lot of ups and downs. This isn't up. He just again finished third. Hell of a week out there on the Corn Ferry Tour. There's only one event left, French Lick. We got to go out and win it. So any support you could throw Mr. Alistair Docherty's way, I know he would appreciate the hell out of that. And a great week last week for him. Just a quick acknowledgement to Colt and Sleaze over there on Subpar. We played this Paul Azinger clip last week, and then it kind of got cut that we gave him credit. So love you, Colt. Text me about it. Love you, Colt. Love you, Sleaze. That's on us. And I know that we have laughed before about when people don't give us credit. And so, to be fair, credit to them. They got that phenomenal Paul Azinger clip where he was kind of going in on Rory, being like, if you're gonna be FU in the fans, and you can't be sitting in the press conference afterwards saying that golf is all about this high decorum and the whole deal. We kind of responded and talked about that clip. So shout out to again Colt and Sleaze, Subpar. Make sure you check those guys out on their show. All right. Last thing I think we got some voicemails to get to. So haven't done voicemails in a little bit. If you want to call and leave a voicemail, we love hearing from you. It could be a conundrum. It could be a cool story. It could be you just venting to us about anything in life, preferably about golf. But if it's not, that's okay too. That number is 646-685-4717. This is from the gallery voicemails. It's all brought to you by Truly Hard Seltzer. The Truly Hard Seltzer is all about fun, light, refreshing variety in a bubbly style to get you and your people in a lively party mood. Truly Unruly drinks light, parties hard. A great time at Tobacco Road last week where we kind of battled through some weather, got a little bit lucky with it, and everybody was staying positive, drinking the 8% Truly Unrulies out there. Truly Unruly drinks light, parties hard. Get unruly with Truly Unruly 8% hard seltzer. You can find it anywhere like your favorite grocery, liquor, or convenience store, or visit trulyhardseltzer.com and use the Truly Finder to grab Truly Unruly near you.
Hey, fellas. I think we need to get rid of the gimme putts. Obviously, in the Ryder Cup and other match play scenarios that we have in the PGA, but in baseball, if you don't touch all the bases after a home run, it's not going to count. The home run doesn't count. So ball and hole, obviously for weekend warriors, whatever, yeah, gimme putts, pace of play, but there's no pace of play issue in the Ryder Cup with 4 or 5 groups out there at a time. It just doesn't make sense. Get it in the hole, make Rory hit a 6-incher. Maybe he misses it. I don't know. That's just the thoughts.
Didn't he start that saying, I understand, in like the Ryder Cup and match play formats, and then he finished it being like, in the Ryder Cup, we need to put all our balls out?
I think, yeah, he did kind of say that. I think he
just wants to see Rory miss a 6-incher, you know? That's just like he.
I think he's saying keep it or get rid of them in those events, but keep them for pace play, like at munis and stuff. I believe that's what he meant.
Yeah. Gimmies are interesting. Gimmies are always going to be interesting, you know? And there's the Ryder Cup, and on that level, I kind of get what you're saying, where it's like nothing that we do out there when we're playing with our pals on the weekend, fall golf, we're all fired up about fall golf, like really matters on any level whatsoever. So if you're given little gimme putts to keep moving and you don't think your pal is going to miss it, you don't even want to give him the opportunity to miss it because you're really buddies out here having a good time at the end of the day, completely get it, where he's like kind of making the point of like the Ryder Cup is so intense and there's so much scrutiny and back and forth that like just don't give anybody anything. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago? It was like Ricky Fowler gave Tommy Fleetwood like a 2.5 foot downhiller to win the Ryder Cup.
The final
it was like
putt,
the last
final
point.
yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, there's no way that they weren't going to win the Ryder Cup. We lost by like 5. Ricky had like hit one in the water and all that. But still, I remember people just being like, yeah, you kind of got to make it to win the Ryder Cup. So I could kind of see that part of it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I like it because it adds an element of like not giving it, give it, and then you can also like put the guy. You could put kind of the pressure on a player when you don't say anything and they feel it. That's a different element that you don't normally get in golf, which I really, really like. I mean, when I was following those guys on Sunday, the crowd was really on the Europeans about like, you know, Fitzy on 11 wasn't giving someone a putt, and it's like they're screaming at him, how you're not going to give that to him. Now the player hears that, right? So it's like there's something different about that I really, really enjoy. And it's like, you know, when are you going to decide to put the pressure on the person, and when are you going to decide to be nice? It's a strategic card that you can hold in your pocket.
It allows players to show what their personality is like and how they feel about the other people that they're playing against. And I think that's important. Like in the Ryder Cup, if you're just hitting balls onto the green, then it's like, all right, everybody's got to make these putts until they're in, and then that's the score, and that's what the match is going to be at. It adds a layer of like exactly what Frankie's talking about, where it's like, all right, you know, you're giving them early, but you're not giving them late, and they're feeling that, and then maybe you don't give them one that you should have given him one. Now you're pissed at the guy. Now you're not giving him short putts that you should give, and then it gets chippy. Like to completely eliminate that element of match play, certainly in Ryder Cups, I think would be a huge mistake.
Yeah. I like it. I've always kind of liked it. I also love the good like offering. You know, I find that part of match play is so fun when you're playing a little 2v2 with your teammates, and maybe you're doing a Ryder Cup buddies trip once or twice a year with some friends. You go out and like you're on the 17th hole and you've got a 4.5 footer and the other guy's got a 3.5 footer, and you look at him and you're like, you want to go good and just go down to 18. And then that moment for that guy is huge, because then he looks at his partner and he's like, should I take it? And the partner's like, do you think you're going to miss it? And then you're like, And then if you like don't take it, and then the guy that's farther away makes it, now he's put all the pressure on planet Earth on you because you didn't take good, and now you have a chance to lose the hole. So I actually do think it's a really like compelling part of the game. It's also like there's nothing else like it in other sports that I could think of. Like you'd never, like in hockey, you're never like, yep, that's a goal, take it. Like nice goal there. Like that's just never, it's like you don't, everything has to be final in every other sport. And it is almost this like, shout out to Rory. It's like this gentlemanly aspect of the game of golf where you're like, you're not going to miss that, sir. That is good by me, And it's like, it's just an interesting element.
Yeah, no, I love the element, dude. It also like giving putts and then like expecting them is a really funny like part of the game too. Like where you've been super generous. Like I just played a match the other day with one of my best buddies, and we were playing a 1v1 at Colonial, and like the wind was up, and it was just like a real battle out there. And like I was up, and we were doing like 2 down auto press. So I was up 4 through 4, and then I'm up 2 on the press, and like I'm just murdering this guy. He was making like 7, 7, 7, 8. And I was being like super generous the whole way, right? Like he'd hit it out of bounds on 2. I'm like, just drop up there and just hit 3. Like you're not routine or anything. Let's just drop and go. And like there were other times where like we actually wanted to skip the group ahead of us was like, you guys can come, like you guys can go through us. So then I was putting for par. He was in the bunker for par. And I'm like, let's just pick this up, go to the next tee. I'm like, we're all square on this hole. So like I'm being super nice and generous. And then like I was up maybe 5 at one point, and then it dwindled down to I was up 2. And he's making me putt like 3 inches and 2. And I'm looking up at him like, do you not remember the fact the only reason this match is even alive is because I let you pick up a ball out of the bunker? And like, you can't say that, which I did because he's one of my best buddies. I said it to him, I'm like, you're an asshole. This is insane. Like, I remember I missed like a 2-footer, and he's like, down 2. I'm like, you're nuts. Like, you should be down 10. Like, I let him at one point. There was a ball that was on the edge of the water, and I'm like, take it into the grass. I'm like, that's bullshit. I just said that's bullshit. I'm like, you're not going to ruin your outfit and hit out of the water. I'm like, just hit on the grass. And like he made an up and down to like tie me there, and the next hole he made me putt like a 1-footer that I missed, and he's like, down 1. I'm like, this is nuts. I'm like, I'm
great element
putting the ball in the hole for you.
Element of it. Yeah, that is a great element of it. I'm like,
I'm putting the ball in the hole for you, and then you're like all over me about these putts right now. And it turned out like he ended up owing me like $10 at the end of the day. I'm like, you should have owed me $100.
See, this is why. What was our caller's name again? This is why we can't get rid of the gimmies. This is incredible. It's such a mental head game, and I also like there was when me and Frankie had our match at Bethpage a couple weeks ago. I remember like the very first hole, I had a putt that rolled out to like 3.5 feet, and it's like to tie the hole with bogey. And I remember nobody said a word, but you're walking around being like, all right, this is the very first hole. This is how it's going to go today, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like you kind of get that mindset of like, wait till you have a fucking 3.5 footer, bitch.
Totally.
You can't help it. And I think that part of it is awesome. All right, let's do. We got another voicemail there, Ryan Richardson.
That guy, by the way, didn't give a name. He was a nameless person.
Nameless man. The nameless man.
We're keeping gimme putts.
Hey boys, it's Chris from Bridgewater, New Jersey. Love the show. Not to trigger any PTSD or anything, but just curious. Frankie and Trent, would you do the 1-chip challenge again if it meant you could play Augusta? Love to hear your thoughts.
Fuck, man.
Oh, wow. I'm going to partly answer for Frankie where I want to say, I don't know if your body can handle another hot chip. The clips from that, the stills from that, the aftermath of that, like you almost ceased to exist that day in the office.
Yeah, if I could do it in an emergency room, I would probably do it. That hot chip ruined me so badly for so many weeks and months. I think I have like an ulcer from that. I think my stomach has never truly been the same. I don't do well with heat. I legitimately got I had an allergic reaction to that hot chip. My face exploded. I was crying. I was puking. I stuck a fucking, I mean, this is as gruesome as it gets, but like I stuck a freaking crescent moon shaped ice cube up my asshole later that night. I mean, it was hotter coming out than it was going in.
It had an impact on you.
It was really, really bad. I mean, to play Augusta, I probably would do it one more time just to say, like, I mean, you have to go, like, you're not getting a chance to go play Augusta, so like just eat the hot chip. deal with the pain for like 10 hours and then go on your way. But I'd need like IV bags and everything around me. I did not do well with that hot chip. And the taste of it and like what it did, dude, having the milk and everything after that has like ruined spice for me. Like I actually, whenever I have something that even is close to similar of that taste of that hot chip, I taste like milk and like my mouth gets all like hot. It's weird. It is PTSD. My brain and my body go into like shock whenever I have like a buffalo wing or something. It's bizarre.
I mean, I would do it. I didn't have as bad of a reaction as Frankie. I don't think it's possible to have a worse reaction than what Frankie had, but it does ruin at least 24 hours of your bowel movements, the way your stomach feels, the way your brain feels. Like you are signing up for a pretty hellacious 24 to 48 hours. But if Augusta National is on the other side, I would do it. I'm not going to enjoy eating the chip, but with that on the line, I think you have to do it. But it's a fucking brutal process.
I didn't do it, but boy, when you get destroyed like that for that long, I had like a hot chicken wing yesterday. That was one of the most hot things I've ever had, and I was ruined for an hour or so. Where you're just like, get me water, get me everything, I'm gonna die. So yeah, that's a tough one.
I think it's overall it's an easy yes though. I mean, like you just get through it. It sucks, and then once you're like later that night, you're like, all right, let's pack the bag for Augusta. You know,
I think you got to do it. I think everybody's doing it. You know, I think if you're gonna be a golfer, you got to pretty much say yes to that one all day, every day. But yeah, thank you, Chris from New Jersey. So we appreciate that. I saw a stat. I don't know if this is true or not. I was trying to find it on the internet. Somebody said this stat to me over the course of the weekend. How many players total this year do you think have beaten Scottie Scheffler? Total number of players that have like played in a golf tournament and defeated Scottie Scheffler in that golf tournament.
Oh wow. You got to think he's averaged like a top 10 number for the whole year. Like he's like his average place is probably like 8 or 7. I mean, I don't even know what that number. I'm gonna say less than. I don't know. You're gonna expose me for a pretty dumb answer here. I'm gonna say
I wouldn't have really known what to say either, to be honest with you. But somebody said this number because you got to think he's played 20 events or something like that.
Right. I was gonna say less than 20 people. I'm gonna say 19.
I think somebody said the number is 56 players.
Okay, so that was really dumb. Yeah, I didn't know it. I didn't know where I was going there. I wanted to say 100, and then it's just
right. That's kind of what I would have thought. The original would be like 100 because if he's good. But then again, I guess a lot of the people might be repeats. I don't even know if that number is 100% true. Somebody said that to me, and then we were kind of debating it at the bar. But the question, Trent, is that like how many people total has Scottie Scheffler played a stroke play event against this year that have like beat him? And apparently the number is 56 players over the course of the entire season.
Still really low. Yeah, 19 is absurdly low. I was thinking a lot of repeats because like if Matt Fitzpatrick keeps beating him, it's just one, no matter how many times he does it. Or if Rory McIlroy keeps beating him, it's just one. I mean, the guy really never finished out of the top 10 all year long. So like, I mean, however many people were in and out of that top 10, then yeah, that's how many people beat him. It can't be that many though if you think about it. It really can't. No. It has to be 50 something.
Right. And his whole dude, look at his whole year is like tied. I know, because there's like 150 players every week that he's playing against. And like, if you finish top 20, you did amazing. Like, you did amazing. And so to imagine he's played against thousands of people, basically, if you kind of consider each one like different start, not thousands total people, but he has to play against so many people throughout each event that like that number could just add up so incredibly fast. Like, you could have one mediocre tournament where you lose immediately to like 70 people, like right away, just 1 week. And dude, he is gone. He went tied for 9th, tied for 25th, tied for 3rd, tied for 11th, tied for 20th, tied for 2nd, 4th, 8th, 1st, 4th, 1st, 7th, 6th, 8th, 1st, 3rd, 1st, tied for 4th.
My God,
first.
Dude, those numbers are incredibly insane. Incredibly insane.
This run right here where he goes 4th, 8th, 1st, 4th, 1st, 7th, 6th, 8th, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 4th, 1st.
We're trying to do that.
What is that, man? God.
I'm going to try and find the average. What was his average?
Average position, you're saying?
Yeah.
Like, in that stretch, like, A 3.3.
It's unbelievable. He's just losing it. Right. He's losing to like two people.
I didn't do any actual math.
When he tees it up, it's like he's on average going to lose to like two people every time he plays.
Can you help me speed up this math and tell me how many events he played this year? I'm doing all those numbers. What was the total amount?
We look it up.
Well, like you just add those, all the ones that you or just tell me how many of those entries.
Thing is, I think it'll just say it on the PGA Tour thing. So
how many bowl games? There's 1 bowl game, 2 bowl games, 3 bowl games, 4 bowl games.
8. 1.
This is 20 events played this year. 6 wins.
1 plus 4 equals divided by 20.
Yep.
5.95.
That's incredible.
That is incredible. That's incredible.
That's a guy who played really well all year.
The entire year.
His average finishing position this year was 5.9.
Dude, playing every week against Colin Morikawa and Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood, Ben Griffin, Shane Lowry. That's who he's playing against, a field of those people every time.
Crazy. What a year.
I think that's all I got, gentlemen. I believe that's all that's on the old docket. You might have anything else? Anything on the list?
I think so. I mean, Yankees got their freaking ass kicked. It's not looking good. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is turning into the next Big Papi. He absolutely murders the Yankees. I mean, going into this series, he was already batting like 390 against the Yankees, and now he's hitting grand slams. He's like 6 for 8 with 2 home runs in the first 2 games. You can't get him out. He's one of those guys you can't get out, just like David Ortiz was. You can't get him out. When you're pitching to him, you're like, this is gone.
Yeah, fuck is right.
I got got by our guy Oz Perlman this weekend.
Dude, we got to talk about that before we sign off, because first I want to get to yours, because
please.
Did you guys see the Notre Dame one?
Yes, I did. I saw a clip of the Notre Dame one.
I watched the whole Notre Dame one. It's getting to the point, and I can't wait to hear your experience with them, but it's getting to the point where these are unexplainable tricks, okay? The only explanation is that everyone's in on it. That is the only logical explanation, which I then know nobody's in on it, because he's just bringing. We've seen and talked to people that have gotten got by him and have been around these football videos. Like
I got got by
you guys have both
last year.
Dude, for anyone that hasn't watched, I'm going to explain this to you right now, and then go watch it just to believe what I'm saying to you. He had a man he goes, somebody have cash on him? And some guy just got up and goes, I got cash. All right. He goes, fold it and sit on that dollar bill, whatever the fuck that means. He goes, fold it and sit on the dollar bill. So then everyone's like, oh shit. And then he had 5 guys get up randomly. He goes, you 5 get up. And he goes, we're going to think of a 3rd and 10, or is it like it's like a 3rd and 10 scenario. And he goes, you said that they're going to get, it's a 45-yard bomb for first down. If you believed in that, if that was you were thinking, sit down. So one guy's like, holy fuck, he sits down. That's what he was thinking. And he goes, 2 guys tried to stump me, and the guy got sacked for no yards gain. 2 guys sat down. And then he's like, one guy, he goes, you tried to really stump me. The chains are out. It's 4th and inches. And like, he's guessing what these guys' their play was in their head. He went 5 for 5, right? Or was it 4 for 4? Whatever. Okay. So when you took all those numbers, right? The 45-yard gain, the 1-yard stop, the 0 yards from the sack, and he put them all on a piece of paper. He wrote them down. So they're all next to each other. All these digits are next to each other of these guys' brains thinking of the plays. He then had the guy sitting on the dollar bill upstairs read off the serial number of that dollar bill. It matched the numbers identically to what these guys said. And then he flipped the numbers around upside down, and it said, go Irish. So the amount of variables that could go wrong there is infinite. Okay. Like, and he goes, oh, what was the first and last letter in between those numbers on the serial number? And it was ND, which is Notre Dame. And then he flipped the numbers around. It said, go Irish. Like, what I'm saying to you right now doesn't make any logical sense. There's no joke. There's no trick there. That's not a trick.
Right.
That's not a trick. There's no magic trick there.
It's
he could have pulled out
similar.
any dollar bill. He could have said any amount of yards. The guy could have been like, oh, it was a 7-yard slant that was caught. But no, they said 1 yard stopped. Both of them said that. So that was the Go Irish. That was the I with the R. That's fucking crazy.
He did a similar one to that at the event that I was at.
Explain it.
It was his finisher. I'll explain that one. So basically it was the end. Before he'd already got me, but what he did at the end was he had 3 people stand up and he was like, think of someone you love, think of their birthday. And he got 3 people to do that. And so he got 3 numbers. It's basically, if it was like, March 4th, 1985, it would be, 3, 4, 85. So those are the numbers. He got 3 people to do that. And then he had a guy with a microphone. Oh, before all this, when the event started, he had a guy pull a $5 bill out of his wallet, had the guy sign the dollar bill, and then he said, sit on it. Sit on that dollar bill. So that was at the beginning. And then at the end, he's asking 3 people for a birthday of someone that they love. He gets all those numbers. We're putting them into a calculator. There's a guy with a microphone running around asking people, getting the numbers. He says, guy with the microphone, go to the guy in the back. Have I ever met you? Blah, blah, blah. He does that with everybody. Everybody's like, no, this is the first time I'm meeting you. He said, whisper into the guy with the microphone and the calculator a number between 1,000 and 5,000. Any number. Pick whatever number you want. Put that in the calculator, multiply all those together, get a number for me. And he's like, I got it. And then he goes, hey, guy sitting on that $5 bill that you signed, that is the same one that you sat on at the beginning of this event, pull that out and read off the serial number. And the serial number matched the number on the calculator.
There is no explanation for that.
I agree.
Like, you're listening to this and you're like, oh, they're all in on it. Like, that's just a person that showed up to the event that pulled out a dollar bill. Now, unless he somehow got somebody to like get that person to go to Starbucks or something and like give them that money as change and then infiltrate their life weeks ago to give them that dollar bill. There is no explanation.
But then to have the number whispered between 1,000 and 5,000, literally could have said any number.
Any number.
I'll tell you what he did to me. So first of all,
this
shout
guy
out to DraftKings.
sucks.
First of all, shout out to DraftKings. I was at Pinehurst all weekend. Me and Beef and PFT and Hank were there for a couple of days. It was a VIP DraftKings event. We're at the Cradle Friday night. They got to play all the VIPs, the DraftKings VIPs. They got to play number 2 on Saturday. It was a great event, really a lot of fun. DraftKings does those things right. Like, we just had an awesome time. And after they all got to play Pinehurst number 2 on Saturday, there's a dinner, and Oz Perlman is there. Riggs and I hosted one of these a year ago in TBC Scottsdale. Same event. Oz Perlman was there as well. He got Riggs, and that's how you know. Like, I trust Riggs. I trust him, and I know he's not a plant. So I watch Oz Perlman pull a number out of Riggs's head, and I know that Riggs isn't in on it. So before these events, before it all starts, before Oz goes on stage, he walks around to each table pretty much and like does magic to them and just guesses numbers, guesses their old girlfriends, does the whole thing. And I'm scared of this guy. I'll when we're at these events, I'll text Frankie being like, the witch is here. I'm trying to keep a low profile. I don't want to be, because I don't want him, listen, I know what's pretty much going on in my head, and I don't necessarily need everybody prying everything out of me. So I'm just like, I'm trying to avoid this guy. Like, oh my God, me and Beef are sitting at a table with a couple DraftKings employees. The DraftKings employees call him over. They're like, Oz, get over here. Like, let's, we want to see something. So what he does to our table, he tells us, think of someone, dead or alive, that you want to have dinner with. Think of that person. Could be anybody, dead or alive. I had just seen a TikTok with Denzel Washington. So that was the first name that came into my head. So I picked Denzel Washington. He says, go on your phone, Google the person that you would want to have dinner with, pull up an image on your phone of them, put your phone down, and I'll talk to you in an hour. So he walks away from the table. At that point, he says, I don't want to see what anybody Googles. I am now walking away from the table. Show starts. He's pouring chocolate milk out of a Sprite can. Like, the whole thing is fucking insane what he's doing. He gets everything right. That's another thing we talk about all the time, where you get one of these things wrong, he is so viral and gets so many views and has so many eyeballs on him that if you screw up one time, it's over, pal.
Mhm.
We don't believe you. Now what he does is he pretends he's screwing up and still fucking gets everything right,
Yep.
which is insane.
Yep.
So it gets to the part in the night where he's like, all right, everybody, and he's like, I did this for a couple tables, but let's just do it with everybody. Everybody right now, think of a famous person, dead or alive, that you would want to have dinner with. And he's like, all right, if you had that person in your head, start clapping your hands above your head. And what I did was I did not clap my hands above my head because I was like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. And guess what he does? He goes, that guy wasn't clapping his hands, so I know he doesn't want to be a part of this, so now he's a part of it.
Oh my
Stand
God.
up. And I was like, God damn it. So I stand up, 3 other people stand up, and he just starts pointing at us. And he's guessing. He's like, one girl had Martin Luther King Jr., and another guy had Travis Kelce. And he's like, sit down. If I get it right, sit down. Everybody's sitting down. He's getting everyone right. Every single one of them. I'm the last guy to go. He looks at me and he goes, all right, it's a musical act. I know that for a fact. And in my head, I go, this is going to be the greatest moment of my life. I'm going to embarrass Oz Perlman in front of all these people. Get your phones out, because he thinks it's a musical act. And I got Denzel Washington in my brain. He's like, it's definitely a musical act. All right. So he's just standing there and he writes, or he goes, it's a solo music act. And I'm like, here we go. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait for this. He writes a name down on this whiteboard that he has. And he goes, say the name of the person that you want to get dinner with. And I, so happy and so excited because I think it's going to be a great moment, go, Denzel Washington. He turns it around and it says Denzel Washington. He says, I was just messing with you.
Oh my God.
No way.
I was just like, I don't know. It sent shivers through my whole body. I have goosebumps all over my body. And I just sat down and I was like, this is the greatest thing. What this guy does is the most impressive thing on planet Earth.
What's the explanation of that?
I don't know.
Is there someone in the crowd that like is observing like what you're writing, like what you're Googling, like that's in his ear, or
But then
there's like cues of like, someone like blinks to him? What's the explanation? Because he's not a fairy. He's not not a fairy, but he's not like a wizard.
I know. But
He's
he'll
not-
also just but then
He's
he'll
not
just
a
make
he's not a ghoul. He's not
Like,
he's
in my
not he's
head,
not from he's not you know what I mean? Like there's no, I'm trying to think of like there, he's not Iron Man or like, you know what I mean? There's nothing about, he's a human being.
So my thing was like, all right, if you really think about it, maybe he did have us Google the pictures. And, I was like, oh, maybe he's on the Wi-Fi. He's got people inside working. They're working, seeing what phones Google. But then he'll just pick somebody out of the crowd. He's like, stand up. Think of your first crush in kindergarten. Think about her real hard. Think about her name. And he's like, I don't know you. I've never met you. He's like, I've done no research. And then he's like, is her name Jessica? And he's like, yeah, it's Jessica. He's like, sit down. And it was like, all right, like that's not like, I don't know what trickery that would even be.
God.
If you, dude, when he was on Rogan, like I remember Rogan was like ready to strangle him and ready to defeat him. And I remember, he just got through that interview at Rogan at the end of it. It's just like, that's unbelievable. That's just, he's like, that's unbelievable. And
I hope that once his life is like, his career is over, that he just does a full explanation as to how he did it. Once
tell
he
you
doesn't
this.
care about how much money he has,
I hope he does that too, because it would be obviously fascinating. There was a picture taken of me at this event with him like over my shoulder, like messing with my phone, and I posted it and I tagged him. He reached out to me and was like, when am I getting on Foreplay? So we might have to.
We gotta do a video.
I want to see Frankie interact with him real bad.
We gotta do a video.
I would love to do a video with him where we give him time to do whatever he needs to do, but like a 9-hole like day of golf, each hole like something is happening that's leading towards the end. Like let him, like just give him the idea that like we're going to be on a golf course with you, and whatever you want to do out there from beginning to end, so that the viewers have to watch from hole 1 to hole 9. Similar to how he did that whole story of like, you got to sit on the dollar and the next one's got to do this, the next one got to do that. He's got to figure out something on the golf course that maybe after each hole, he reveals something, and at the end he like, I don't know, brings back my pop or something from like the dead, right? Like I don't know what he's gonna do, but like I would love to be on a golf course with him, because over digital, like over this, if we just have him on the podcast, it would suck ass.
No,
Gotta
we would
be a
never do
YouTube
it
video.
digital. I was thinking, I'd be curious what he would say to that, because I think every time I watch him, and we all watch him, he'll do football, he'll do basketball, he'll do all that, but it's always people just sitting in front of him. I wonder if he would do that, or like what he would say to that. But I still, even if he's like, I would prefer if we just like meet somewhere and we do it.
Fine.
I still think we should
have to meet him.
I
have to meet him.
He wants to do it.
I am so blown away by him. I'm not even skeptical of him anymore. I genuinely just don't even know how he does it. And I know that's what the allure is, and that's like that's why he is who he is. I can't even, everything else I can just say sleight of hand.
Sure.
All the other magic is like, well, that's just like sleight of hand, or it's like optical illusions. Him pointing at someone being like, Jessica, it's just like, fuck. Could have said any name. Denzel Washington. Like, how is that a trick?
Dude, Riggs, he did the same thing he did at TBC Scottsdale too. Did a tight hour, had the place going crazy, grabbed 2 bags, and just ran into the distance. I legit at this point think he grabs 2 bags so people can't get their hands on him. Like so he doesn't have to shake hands. He doesn't have to do any of that. He just takes 2 bags and just, dude, it felt that way. Because there are people afterwards who are like, oh, they want to talk to him. And I totally get why. But he's like, I got to go. I got to catch a plane, grabs 2 bags and just runs off into the darkness.
Dude, that is exactly what he does. Because when you listen to him on these shows,
here's the thing. There's something going on, right? Like there is a trick at play. So whether it's on his body, on his fingers, something, he is not doing this. He's not a higher being. He is not. Dude, you can't say I don't know. The answer can't be that I don't know. He's a human being. He went to like school and like fucking he got arrested at one point for like stealing cell phones. Like the guy, if you listen to the Rogan episode, he like goes into it. Like this guy is a regular human being. Should we start writing the next version of the Bible for him? Is that what we're saying? Like, is he non-human?
No,
unclear.
I don't. But I'm incapable of knowing how he does what he does. The best I could take from these interviews are that he is a master at being able to basically read people and boil down whatever you're thinking through some incredible techniques of just being able to read people. That is like the takeaway that I get from these interviews. And like, I know that sounds insane, but I think he has completely mastered an ability to comprehend and like know how many answers there could possibly be. And then the way that you're thinking about something gives X amount of signals that allows him to like deduce through all of this incredible techniques that he's read about since like these books from the 30s that he talks about, to boil it down to like one answer in every scenario, even though every scenario looks like there's a trillion possible answers. Like that's sort of the best way that I can understand it and explain it without really being able to explain it.
And like you're just like, of course he's going to say like Brock Lesnar or freaking like Stone Cold Steve Austin. But instead he says Denzel Washington. Like how is Trent not saying a WWE superstar?
I love Ron Blaney. I think I'm gonna put him.
Ryan Blaney. He said Denzel Washington. Like, and he was probably thinking of like Training Day. Denzel Washington. I was. Wow, there we go. So maybe I got a little bit of him.
You got a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's obviously the fact that we don't know how he does it is why it's so goddamn interesting. But I will testify that I'm not a plant. I had not talked to him since I saw him a year ago or whenever we did it. And he got me cold, man. He pegged me.
It makes me want to slam my head against the table. Like it makes my head want to explode. Like I actually try and think through it. And I know what you're saying, Riggs. There's obviously a technique. But that's not a good enough explanation. Like that there's
I agree. I don't think that the way that I explain it gets me even 1% closer to understanding it. But I do, when you listen to him in these interviews, the way he does kind of explain it gets you maybe a little bit closer to realizing that he's not doing what you think he's doing. He's doing something totally different that some fucking how is able to have him arrive at one singular answer. And that's just not like comprehensible, but the way that you twitch and the way that you like, he knows that like the nose now, it starts with an M. There's only so many names that start with an M. The way that he thought there was 6 letters, not 8. There's only so many female names that could be 6 letters that start with an M. And he's able to get all that down to like one answer and just do that while you're sitting there thinking he pulled it out of the thin air. That's like the way that I
do it one-on-one. I get that, but to do it at an event where you're like Oprah giving out freaking Chevys is crazy. Like Jessica, Denzel Washington, sit down. It's just fucking holy shit. How much math are you doing then?
I'm not. This isn't going to be. I don't want to do an Oz Perlman audio. Here are his tricks, but there were 3 or 4 other ones that you're just like, how, dude?
Fuck.
It's fucking
fuck him, honestly.
Dude. He also,
fuck him. If I meet him, I'm gonna say fuck you. That's what I'm gonna say.
Dude, he's also the nicest guy in the world.
I know.
He's awesome.
I'm a
He's
fan
such a
of him.
showman.
I send it all the time to my dad because my dad is such a skeptical person with things like these. Like he's always trying to find how they're doing it. He like loves to dissect and tell you like that's fake or whatever, whether it be anyone, right? Like someone like reading or talking to the dead. He's like, what'd they say? Like, oh, I have an Italian last name. My father was a gambler because I'm seeing poker cards. Like he's always like, you could see my face and know that there's gambling or something in my background. He's always like trying to figure out. Oz Perlman has him on his heels, man. Yeah. I sent it to him the other day and he wrote, wow, ... and then he wrote back shit. Just like shit.
Your dad's right.
Shit is correct.
Like this guy's got us, man. The Notre Dame one, I know he did it there, but like that spelling Go Irish.
That's a little extra on top that we didn't
that's
get.
So fucked on so many levels to think about. It's 1 in like 10 trillion odds.
I don't even think that's high enough.
It's an infinite amount of odds to get 5 guys to think of a football play, have you write down those numbers, and then have someone's $5 bill have the fucking serial numbers spell out Go Irish when you're talking to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That part to me is like, I don't know what's at play there, but it's not good for anybody. It's not good. Either he's infiltrated their lives or their brains. I don't know. Or they're all in on it. And then that's a huge maybe it's AI. Maybe that didn't actually happen. Maybe like that. Maybe that whole interaction never actually happened.
I was in a real event and a real atmosphere and it happened.
I've been a part of there too, and it sucked. I think he did the number and he did the girlfriend thing to me, like the first girlfriend you can think of, and just came up with that name. And it's just like, that's not. I haven't thought of that name in 25 years. How is that possible?
Now, how did Connor McDavid just sign a 2-year, $12.5 million deal, but Kaprizov signed a $17 million deal last week? I know this is a bridge deal. McDavid, that's pretty crazy. He only signed a 2-year extension. Sorry, this is just coming across my desk here. I know everyone's pretty excited about it. But like, wouldn't he still, even though it's a bridge deal, wouldn't he still be valued at like the best player in the league? Wouldn't he be like $18 million for 2 years? How is he at $12.5 million? That's crazy.
There's some
unless he just wants to
money
win
coming in.
Well, they say Kaprizov, like, yeah, I guess that must just be like a want-to-win deal. Because like Kaprizov on Minnesota Wild just reset the whole market. He signed a 10-year, like $17 million deal or something like that, or an 8-year, $17 million deal. Dude, the next highest player is McDavid at like 12 or 13.
Forever now, yeah. Forever now, whenever somebody signs like a team-friendly deal, there's going to be those like. Did you guys follow the Kawhi story?
I didn't really. I don't know what you're talking about.
Essentially, you sign a deal that's kind of below market value, and you're kind of like, what the fuck? And then there's like a third party circumvent.
That's why the top comments like he's also working for a tree company or something.
That's a Kawhi reference because where you just like it's like it's a no-show job. Like if you ever watch The Sopranos, where it's like, you work here, but he didn't have to do any social media posts, no nothing. It was like you're making, I think it was like $7 million or $27 million total over the course of it, and he didn't have to do anything. So it's always those are always going to be.
Yeah, he
around.
could have signed for max money, and he signed for, I mean, still a lot, but like in this day and age where the cap's going to, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy deal that just came across my desk. See, Liv doesn't get across my desk like that.
No,
No.
sure doesn't.
All right. All right, gentlemen. Well, hell of a show. How about them Cowboys? Love that. Big day for us. Big year for us for the 2025 Ryder Cup. October 15th. Once again, that is next week. Granite Links, 9 a.m. If you can make it out there, we're going to be out there. We got a lot of our contingent. So come support, come follow along, and hopefully we can get a win. Otherwise, we'll be back on Thursday for our second show of the week. Hit it hard.
Hit hard.
Hit hard.